Hey guys, welcome to my channel. In this video, we are going to talk about India-European Union Defense Pact and what exactly it is, what's involved in it, and what is going on here because they are going to sign everything in couple of days, January 26th and January 27th. Okay, in fact, Ursula von der Leyen, she has in fact called it mother of all deals and all that good stuff. In fact, they're saying that this is going to be a watershed moment, as in that India and European Union are going to leave all the divergences behind and converge onto India European Union trade deals and free trade agreement and defense pact and all that. So today we are going to talk about defense pact. And I've already talked about actually India European Union free trade agreement, and I'll post the link down below and you can go check it out. But before we get started, please do like and subscribe and let's go. So, um, first of all, let's actually understand the background of this whole entire thing. Why European Union wants defense pact now, okay, versus in the past, right? So the reality is this: ground reality. Ground reality is that Union has been wanting to become a major security player in the Indian Ocean for past many years in the for the Indo-Pacific and all that. European Union just did not want to remain an economic bloc. Okay. Now, in 70s and 80s and 90s, of course, when China was on the rise and European Union and Chinese trade grew, then uh, then European Union's concerns also grew that hey, if what if there is some that breaks out between India and China, then how we are going to deal with all this? And if European Union gets involved into the security of Indo-Pacific, then they will have some say in this whole thing if there is a war between India and China. Other than that, no, there will be no say. So they've been wanting to be a real security player for quite some time now. But India wasn't okay with that thing, that because if European Union wants to become a security player, then China will have to become a security player because it was the trade deal between the European Union and China. It wasn't a main pact or major deal between European Union and India, right? So uh, because of that, India had concerns, and India was like, okay, no, you do what you do, but you're not going to bring China in here. Now, when the India and US trade started to grow, and India and US partnership started to grow, then Europe, in actually US mainly asked European Union to stay back, and that the desire to be a security player in the Indian Ocean by European Union was put on the put on the back burner, and they were like, okay, let's wait until now, when India and European Union decided to sign the free trade agreement, the mother of all deals. Okay, so when they decided to sign the European Union all these defense pact, and considering the current situation of the world order, where we are seeing that American influence as far as net maritime security provider, which they used to do to maintain their rule-based international order. I have made a video on rule-based international order to give you the perfect understanding of it. Okay, so I'll post a link on that as well down below. So please do check it out. Okay, so you will get a very good understanding of what exactly the rule-based world order is, rule-based international order. Okay, now when now since you America's influence is waning slowly and slowly, so what's happening is that that void that America will leave a big void in the in as far as maritime trade is concerned, as far as security is concerned, maritime security is concerned. You have to understand this. Yes, love America or hate America, but to maintain their international order, they did provide some serious maritime security, and they took the blame for it too. Yes, there is international politics involved and all that, and they did some so-called bad things and everything, but um Why would somebody want to invest billions and billions of dollars into something if they cannot even take do certain things for themselves, right? I mean, what's the point of me cooking something if I don't get to eat little bit more than what others are eating, right? You cannot ask for a a s- equal share of meal, especially when I am the cook and I am the provider of the groceries and everything else, right? So that it was sort of kind of that kind of deal. But now that is gone after the national security strategy document, where you said that Western Hemisphere belongs to America, and that's that. So if Western Hemisphere belongs to America, then Eastern Hemisphere belongs to three other great powers. Okay, and three other great powers are teaming up with European Union and African continent to do the trade and all, and henceforth the Defense Pact. Okay, and that's what the whole Defense Pact is. That's the whole idea behind the Defense Pact. Now, first thing that you have to understand is that this is not a treaty. It's not going to be any kind of treaty. So I'm just uh, giving you a heads up here that it's not any kind of treaty. It's going to be more like a zone based defense, and I'll explain all that into the video later on. And then counterterrorism, then your AML, anti-money laundering, then extradition. All these things will be discussed, and information sharing and all will be discussed. Okay, now, so what we are going to do in this video is that we are going to talk about what exactly the Defense Pact is, and what exactly the Indo-Pacific alignment of European Union really entails. What do they want from this whole entire thing? Okay, so let's get started and let's talk about it. Okay, and this is something also you have to understand that this is not something I am cooking here. Okay, I'm not cooking or conjuring all these things out of thin air. I have thoroughly read the Defense Pact and India European Union free trade agreement document. That's like 20-page PDF. Okay, you have to go through this whole entire thing, and then you will find the Defense Pact. Defense Pact is part of it. Okay, and so that's where all this is coming from. All right, so yeah, there is that, and let's get going. Let me share my slide with you. Okay, so what the European Union basically is saying is that. That they are saying that European, it's like Indo-Pacific engagement, and aligning this with India's role as a pillar of regional stability. They are saying that the whole entire Indian Ocean relies on India for its stability. Okay, and then the document basically calls it with different terminologies. They're saying Euro-Atlantic and Indo-Pacific regions, and how they can how European Union and India can actually exchange and coordinate between these two things and various linking points. And especially they are talking about Mediterranean, Red Sea, and the Indian Ocean. And like I have said this thing, right, in my past videos, those who follow me, those who closely watch my videos, then I do provide all these strategic um, information as to what exactly is strategic and what is important as far as strategy is concerned, as far as maritime security is concerned, in which I have always mentioned Mediterranean. I have mentioned Mediterranean. I have talked about Red Sea. I have talked about Indian Ocean and Mediterranean. There is a lot going on in the Mediterranean. There be why, because it's like a it's like a regional power galore. Mediterranean is a regional power galore, but too many regional powers have accumulated in one point, in one single ocean. Over there is Turkey, then European Union is there, then right next to it is Israel, then there's Greece, Italy. All these powers are there, right? And then Russians also are not behind there. So they want that area of Mediterranean empty so that they have Black Sea connectivity and all that through a Sea of Azov, right? So that's why Mediterranean Sea becomes very important. So any country who wants to trade with Europe, then Mediterranean is very important. And China also wanted to enter Mediterranean so that they have an alternate supply chain. Why? Because of the Russia-Ukraine war. Russia-Ukraine war has created a major problem, Russia-Ukraine war has created a major problem for China. What that problem is? The problem is of supply chain. Before, what was happening is that China used to go to Europe through train and all that, through Russia, Kazakhstan, Russia. I mean, whatever the route is. I mean, I'm not gonna get into Chinese supply chain here, but that used to be the case. But um, after the Russia-Ukraine war started, that supply chain actually got blocked completely, and because of that, China had to look for other alternatives. Okay, other alternatives as such as in through the Indian Ocean, of course, through Red Sea, Suez Canal, and all that. And then at the same time, they were like, okay, let's work through what? Kyrgyzstan, Turkmenistan, then Iran, and then through Iran, they can enter what? Through Mediterranean. I mean, they can go to Iraq, then go to Lebanon, and all that, and then they enter Mediterranean. That was the whole idea. So that's why Mediterranean became very important. Now, if we look into this, what European Union is saying in their defense pact, okay, what they're saying in their defense pact is that Mediterranean, Red Sea, and Indian Ocean. So they want to work with India to maintain the connectivity and to maintain the security of all these three. That is a very important part of it. Okay, and why is that? Because I explained Mediterranean, and Mediterranean is very important for India because of its own corridors that India is working with Israel and other Middle Eastern countries. Okay, and same thing is for the Red Sea as well. Okay, and you are going to see pretty soon, you're going to see that India is going to have a naval base in the Somaliland with UAE and who? Israel, to safeguard the Suez Canal. Okay, that work is already in progress. Okay, and then Indian Ocean is already there. Okay, so and it's all about safeguarding these choke points. Okay, now let me explain this whole thing to you through the map. Okay, so what map is saying is this: according to the defense pact and the defense document, what they're saying is that this part from here is the Arabian Sea, right? And then this whole thing is Indian Ocean right here. And what they're saying is that Europe is saying that this thing needs to be secured. And what they're saying up to here, right? Greece and all that, right? Greece or Italy or something, right? They're saying that this needs to be secured, all right, for the trade with European Union. Whereas India already has a IMEC, so India is saying that they are going to secure this as well. Okay, but considering that there is already Israel, Hamas, and all the mumbo jumbo going on here, so India no longer wants to wait for IMEC. They are saying that okay, let's have this alternative and let's secure this and we work through this and then we will figure out something else. And next one will be for India will be this. India will already be here. This is gonna be Somaliland right here. Okay, India is gonna move from Ethiopia, then probably Ethiopia to Sudan, then Egypt, and then India may actually enter this part here. They will definitely develop uh, another what you call it, the trade route through Somaliland. Okay, and just in case there is something wrong with the Red Sea. Okay, that's gonna happen. But for India, India European Union defense pact, this is the primary thing. European Union is still considers Red Sea, this whole thing, a very primary security uh, choke point. They are not worried about this whole IMEC right now. Okay, so that's one aspect of uh, the security architecture. Now, then uh, then European Union also is saying that they want to highlight they're highlighting their participation and they want to participate in the Indo-Pacific initiative as well. And what is Indo-Pacific initiative? Indo-Pacific initiative basically is a uh, a grouping, a initiative that India started, and any country that wants to participate in the regional security of the Indian Ocean, considering that 80%, 80 to 90% of the trade goes through the Indian Ocean. So they join this Indo-Pacific initiative and they become part of it. And so European Union wants to join that, right? Now, um, and Indo-Pacific and European Union also mentioned that and once again, these are not any strategic. I'm just stating you the document, what document exactly said, and what are the initiative that are already in place in order to safeguard the Indian Ocean and the Indian Ocean region. Okay, and one of those things is the Indian Ocean Rim Association too. Okay, so and European Union is also part of the Indian Ocean Rim Association. Okay, and then also in 2024, India and European Union agreed to launch dedicated Indo-Pacific consultations to improve coordination on common strategic challenges in the Indian Ocean. Okay, now, so why all of a sudden uh European Union is so concerned about Indian Ocean uh security, right? Security of that. See, the simple thing is this. I will give it to you straight, and I'm gonna keep it very simple. Simple thing is that any country that wants to trade with any other country. So back in the day, the whole point was when there was a unipolar world. The idea was that whether India and European Union are trading, whether China or South Africa are trading, US used to be the net security provider. Okay, and why they were doing it? They were doing it because they could keep track of what exactly is being traded, and that's how they would form this foreign policy, and that's how they would know what exactly China is doing, what exactly some other emerging power in those days is doing. Okay, so keep track of all that. But that wasn't working out for other countries because that was like indirect spying, right? You're using Swift data, Swift logs to really track what are the transactions that are being made. You are tracking the shipping containers and all the what is being transported through those. Then you are looking into other countries, their scientific research or ocean research and all, just trying to see if they're not spying on you or what kind of technologies they have. So they were basically interfering with all these things. And now what's going to happen is that uh, India is developing its own maritime security framework, in which they are saying that there will be no one country that will provide the net security or anything. What India is saying is that, hey, whatever you are, whatever you do, and your security is your responsibility. And uh, what they can do is, what they're saying is that let's break it down into zones. Okay, now let me share my map, and then let's talk about what exactly the concept is gonna be down the line as far as India's framework is concerned. Okay, so like for example, in our uh, in India and European context. Okay, so Europe said Red Sea, look at the Mediterranean, and then this is the whole entire Indian Ocean. Okay, so it doesn't matter India from here, these are all ports from India. Say this is such a big shoreline that any place can be a thing. This race and Karachi also, India can capture Karachi, and then Karachi will become part of India too. Pretty soon that's gonna happen. I can assure you that this is also in works. I can guarantee you, India is not going to go after POK. India is gonna go after Sindh right here. They're gonna take Sindh, they're gonna actually free Balochistan, and they're gonna landlock whatever the remaining of pathetic Pakistan is left. Okay, so they're gonna take care of that. But that's not the discussion here. All right, I just thought to throw it in. All right. Anyways, so so what they're saying is that this, and then Indian Ocean, right? Now, India is working with Israel and UAE's President MBZ. He was in India a couple of weeks ago, or a couple of days ago, I don't remember, but he was there. And this right here is the Somaliland, right? This is Horn of Africa, so it's right here. Okay. Now, what's gonna happen is that India will put its naval base here, Israel is going to put its naval base here, and UAE already has a naval base here. Okay. And that's gonna, so what the zone means is that European Union is saying that okay, we will provide the net security in this area, and if your ships or anything else comes here, then we will help you with that. That's what European Union is saying. And then what they're saying, also what they're saying is as far as India's framework is concerned, then that is, let's call it zone 1. Okay, then also this is zone 2. Okay, and then you call this zone 3. Okay, now, so what India is saying that hey, there will be zones where that will be your water, so you provide net security there. Then there will be zones where there will be some sort of overlap, so we both can work together to provide security there. And then there will be zones where that will be our water, so we will provide security in our waters. That will be our responsibility. So which is basically, the idea is of shared responsibility, not like what US did, that US was like, okay, we will provide the net security and this and that, but in reality they couldn't afford to do that, and they never cared about the security, I believe, because things that were happening, they were already happening, because it's just, you are going to overextend no matter what, and that's what led to the debacle of America's empire, right? Simply because of overextension, too much money was being wasted in things that were not even needed. Okay, so now what's going to happen is that this is why India is also, to secure this whole entire thing, the Indian Ocean, the Gulf of Aden, then Gulf of Oman, and then right here Strait of Malacca and all that. Okay, now you have to understand that the Strait of Malacca here, India does not control it. Okay, these are not Indian waters. Okay, Strait of Malacca, India does not control it. The countries that are here, they control it, but India just works with them to, for patrolling, to provide the security in these areas. Okay, and this right here is India's base. Okay, so now what India is doing at this point, just to implement this whole entire framework properly. Okay, so what India is doing is that India is working with Indonesia. Now if you look at this, okay, if you look at this map right here, so this is all Indonesian in Indonesia, right? Sumatra, all this. Okay, so this is a very long shoreline, and these islands here can be used by India to provide the net security and secure this whole thing, Strait of Malacca, right? That choke point where all the trade goes through, Strait of Malacca. Okay, and India is working with Indonesia on this. So there are partners. India is also working with Singapore also, then Malaysia also, for security. So what's happening is that India is doing, asking for a shared responsibility, not just one particular country or something. Okay, so that's their framework. So that's what this whole thing is all about, the Indian Ocean Rim Association and all those things. Okay, now the next thing is the another part of the Defense Pact is providing the hardware to the European Union. So what European Union is saying is that hey, yeah, we can work together, we can actually uh, work on certain things. Okay, we can work on certain things to discuss the Russia-Ukraine war. Okay, now what they're saying is that yeah, we are ready to work with you on those things, and we can talk about it. We can discuss certain things, and but there is no specific thing has been mentioned. But at the end of the day, what they're saying is that that if say European Union asks India to for some sort of defense pact or something, then India is not going to share that technology with the Russians or anybody else that may hurt European Union's interests. Okay, so that's another thing. Now, so there are special things, especially certain things they're talking about the sanctions, circumvention, then Russians shadow fleet and all. They're saying that we are going to discuss all that with India, and how are we going to deal with that. Why? Because if India and European Union both are going to be part of this maritime security, then they have to look into the shadow fleets and all, right? So So with all that being said, that's another point of discussion that is more like a Ukraine spillover. And um, I think that's going to require some discussion with the European Union sanctions or sanctions on why they're going to talk about it as to if I mean, if India is going to cooperate, but I think India is not going to cooperate and all that. That's just basically, hey, we know you've been helping us with the Russian oil and all that. That's good, but how do we really handle the situation? There are certain European Union countries who do not want, who don't want Russia-Ukraine war to stop. Okay, their entire goal is basically to profit from it. Now, what's going to happen is eventually that uh, when the European Union will realize that going against Russia or working against Russia or whatever purpose they want Ukraine for, they can achieve all that from Russia without any problem. Then I think that is the time when they're gonna learn that it's pointless, and that's exactly where things are gonna end. Okay, so the way I'm seeing it is that after all these deals are signed, we will see that Russia-Ukraine war is also going to subside over the period of time. Then comes then other aspect of the defense pact is mainly uh, certain things like, let's look into it real quick. All right, so first, the maritime security is described at because of all that. Then document focuses on securing sea lanes of communication and protecting critical maritime infrastructure. We talked about all that. Then including risk linked to shadow fleet activity, all that. Then it anchors cooperation in a free, open, inclusive, rule-based maritime order. This that aligned with international law, specifically UNCLOS. This that. See, basically what they're saying that let's follow the law and order and all that good stuff. But India will straight up say that, hey, when you apply sanctions on Russia, that was not the rule based international order. If that's what you want, because it didn't come from United Nations. So if you are applying sanctions, then we are not going to ruin our relationship with Russia because you applied sanctions. So though there are things, all right, there are certain aspects to it. And what European see, what happens is this, I'll tell you. See, European Union or any Western country, basically, they see their in a different mindset. They are looking at India from the economy, money from that angle. So they're saying that, hey, you have more trade with us with positive trade-off balance, whereas you have give take $65 billion worth of trade, and on that also you have that is like $50 billion negative. So why are you so aligned towards Russia? That is what these countries are saying. And then they keep doing certain trade deals and all that stuff just to lower India into their thing. But the problem here is this, what they don't grasp, a simple concept that they don't grasp is that it's not about Russia, it's not about European Union, it's not about, definitely not about Ukraine, and it's not about the USA. It's about the sovereignty. You cannot interfere with the country's sovereignty, and this is what European Union compromised on. They thought that, okay, they're trading with they thought that they're trading with US, and um, they're getting money and all that good stuff from behind the scenes. So it's best to listen to what Uncle Sam has to say. And what they would do is that they would just simply lie down with their belly up. And that's where they compromise their whole entire sovereignty. So much so that now the same protector actually is threatening them to take over their territories. All right. So now they don't know what to do with it. Okay. And that's called eye-opening moment. All right. Also, so another key aspect of maritime security is that they're talking about information sharing, all that, and then about the regional maritime information fusion center in Madagascar and all that. And Madagascar is about to join BRICS as well, and they are working on expanding the and building the capacity and all that in all those projects in the Indian Ocean region as well. So certain things are, I mean, that I'm talking about could be pretty boring because they are straight up, they're not strategic, but they are more so the defense pact clause. Okay. Now, for example, they have the naval operations and all. Just for the information, say EU NAV for Atlanta, and then UNAV for ASPIDES with the Indian Navy. These are all naval exercises and all. They're going to expand this further, which means that how they're going to expand it. They're going to expand it in Mediterranean. They're going to expand it in the Red Sea, in that region, Gulf of Aden and all that, and then further into the Indian Ocean as well. Okay, so it notes that exercises could involve the Indo-Pacific partners. Indo-Pacific partners, like I said, the Indo-Pacific, Indian Ocean or Indo-Pacific uh, initiative countries that are part of that group, they can participate in this thing, and they are called Indo-Pacific partners. All right. So then there is another the another part of the deal was the hybrid threat. Hybrid threat, once again, maritime security. Um so how is that? Let me share it with you real quick. I mean, I'm just trying to figure out how do I give you a very make this interesting because it all gets boring after a point, right? So, anyways, so the European Union will seek arrangement between European Union naval operations and the Indian Navy to enable greater information sharing and cooperation in the Western Indian Ocean. Western Indian Ocean gets interesting, okay? And Western India, it notes the potential joint sea activities in other shared interest areas such as Gulf of Guinea. So India operates in Gulf of Guinea too. Just a year or two ago, India had dismantled foiled a piracy operation. They conducted a piracy operation over there. They took care of the business. Now it says anti-piracy. That is not a piracy operation. It says future cooperation should focus on protecting critical maritime infrastructure. It all comes down to the same thing. But let me show you what exactly this whole thing is. The Gulf of Guinea, right? So when you go here, okay, when we look at our beloved African continent, right here. So this, okay, this right here, okay. So this, and India works with Nigeria right here. Okay, so India is working with Nigeria to have some sort of naval base, and also Indian Navy works in this region as well. So anybody who thinks that they don't Indian Navy doesn't operate anywhere, so they are a rock solid uh, blue water navy. All right. So Indian Navy's influence is all over the place. If you look into it, they operate all the way from here to here, and that's what European Union is saying. Okay, they are saying that uh, that they want to do some naval exercises here. They want to secure this part as well. So India will have to probably partner with certain other countries to share the load. Like for example, South Africa, right? South Africa just recently invited a lots of BRICS countries to do a naval exercise right here in these waters. Okay, then Madagascar is also going to join BRICS, and South Africa is supporting it. Okay, so South Africa is supporting it. So I think that this is going to become another choke point where India can directly bring their trade and all that through here also. So there will be lots of other, I mean, the way I'm seeing it is that with the multipolar world, we are going to see lots and lots of other uh your other sea routes, the sea lanes that are gonna pop out. Okay, and one of those things will be that you notice the Mediterranean. Hmm? So what's going to happen here is that why they want Gulf of Guinea here, because of the Mediterranean. See all this shares Portugal, France, and all that. Then UK, this Germany, this, right. They want to secure this part right here. Okay. So Gulf of Guinea and this. So in case if India ever wants to, they will develop. What they will do? They will develop it. They will develop, right. Come here, Mozambique. or they come to South Africa, right? There's Cape of Good Hope here, right here. And then use the land route basically to go to Nigeria or Guinea or anywhere else, and then directly into Europe if you ever want to do it. There were multiple routes that will be developed over the years. Okay, so that's why they want to, the European Union and India wants to do this defense pact, and they want to involve Gulf of Guinea into the optics too. Okay, now, so that is that. Now let's look into something else. Then another aspect of the defense pact is going to be cyber security. Okay, cyber security basically, what they're saying is, usual cyber security, right? The your How do I put it? I'm just trying to come up with the technical terms here. So ICT supply chain, then e-commerce is there, then we are talking about the trusted digital technologies and vendors. Then we are talking about uh, blockchain, crypto, because when there will be CBDCs all over the place, then all these things will be needed, and information sharing will be needed too. So, what they're going to do is, so why I'm talking about it. Let me take a step back and explain this to you. Okay, see, these trade deals are done. These type of defense pacts, cybersecurity, and all these defense pacts are done to actually develop a framework, a framework that both regions agree to. And so when, like, when in the corporate America or somewhere else, for example, when we talk about the cyber security, so what happens is that uh, the clients and the partners and all, they come up with this control procedure or a document that, hey, to operate this infrastructure, these are the things that needs to be done to make sure that there is optimum functioning of the infrastructure while maintaining the cybersecurity. And then the scanners are run against those control procedures and the documents to make sure that nothing is flagged, right? And that's how the cybersecurity compliance and all that works. So and with these treaties, what they're going to do is that they're going to develop that cybersecurity compliance for both countries. Meaning that, let's say, if the website is working in India for say between two companies or all that, for the trade between the two countries, right? Say Dassault, like Rafael. So now whatever is being done in India for Rafael, and they will have a website, and then there is some website somewhere else, the Rafael website in Europe, in France. So they will come up with mutual compliance agreement that, hey, with this, we will say this is compliant, and this is how we are going to handle these things. Meaning that these will be the access restrictions, and anything besides this, for example, let's say money or transaction, if we will not allow these keywords or these type of information from our side. So if you see it, then flag it, right? So that same instruction will come from France, and then same instructions are gonna go to France. I'm just saying as a simple example, just to explain you. And that's exactly what this whole cybersecurity and all this internet supply chain and all that is all about. Because the last, see, whenever there is a trade between the two countries, it's not just about the countries. Never look at the trade. When it comes to trade, never look at it in terms of countries. Trade is always between the traders. Okay, and when the trade is between the traders, then lots and lots of tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 traders are involved. Somebody's supplier, somebody's a sub supplier, somebody's a contractor, right? So I will give you a simple example, like let's say Amazon is there, right? Now between Amazon and Alibaba, how things are working. Alibaba provides the thing, Amazon sells it, and then certain things Amazon also sells, but manufacturer gets it from somewhere. At the end of the day, Alibaba is the supplier. Alibaba is the facilitator, and then there are tier 2 suppliers that actually the traders that want to sell things on Alibaba, right? But you get the drift, right? How the everything is there are tiers to it, and how all these tiers they work in tandem through that website, and then same thing for Amazon, right? But between between US and China, probably there has been some sort of cybersecurity and all that pact to make sure the compliance and make sure that US allows Alibaba uh, on its soil, whereas and same thing for China to allow Amazon on its soil, right, on its internet. So that's what the whole pact is. Now, another aspect that was discussed in the defense pact was, of course, most obvious thing that is a pinpoint or the pain point for India, that is terrorism, counter-terrorism cooperation. Now, you might have heard, for those who are from India, I mean, you might have heard Dr. S. Jaishankar talking about giving some third degree, some good, earful to Poland. And he clearly said that you got to watch, I mean, what you say to other countries, okay? Don't try to play this game that you can go to Pakistan and say that, oh, that India should give Kashmir or this and that. Don't. So, so what he did is that he explained them that we will do deal under the condition that you see the terrorism and the perpetrators of the terrorism the same way we see them. There will be no compromise on that. For that, we will be wearing the same set of glasses. And so they were like, oh, yeah, we agree, we had this problem as well, and this and that. What India basically indirectly said is that no, you don't know Jack. You have no clue what exactly the real terrorism looks like. And so they said that focus areas will be terror financing, online propaganda, linked with links to the organized crime, risk from emerging technologies, and all this. They said that all these things are being used by the terrorists to commit terrorism all over. They are also evolving over the period of time too. So so they are saying that there should be stronger counter-terrorism cooperation through capacity building, joint projects, and law enforcement partnerships. Meaning that that they need to work with India to provide the intel. That's where our the intelligence sharing happens. That's when you see that two countries share the information with each other for certain operations. That's how sometimes India gets the information. That's how sometimes European Union gets the intel ahead of time. Okay, these things happen through these type of acts. Okay, then law enforcement partnerships and all too, that hey, if we ask you to extradite somebody, then you make sure that you arrest them and we bring them over here, bring them to India, so that things can be handled. So don't play games with us when it comes to things like that. And all that will be part of this defense pact from here on. And if there is a criminal that is running away from India, then we want some information, then you do provide information. There are lots and lots of criminals in India who have bank accounts in the Swiss bank and all that. So let's not play that game uh, when we ask for the information of all that. So you do provide those things. And India specifically talked about the Pahalgam attack on April 2025 that happened. So so that's another aspect that was there. So I think this is gonna be a nightmare for people who run away and take their money and put it in the Swiss banks and think that they're all safe and everything. So that's not gonna happen anymore. And then the last aspect I believe is the transnational organized crime. So what exactly that is strengthen judicial and law enforcement cooperation, including implementing and working arrangements between Europol and India's CBI to exchange non-personal data. Then India's connection to Europol SIENA platform. So basically what they're saying is that uh, once India's connection to your Europol SIENA, what is Europol? Europol is like the European police, Popo, okay? So European purpose basically they want to have connection with India's CBI so that CBI can track down all the criminals that have been running away from India and hiding in these countries, especially the countries where these type of treaties or pacts are not there, not signed. Okay, so these people, they run away, they hide over there. Then what they do is that they seek asylum, saying that, oh, India has been very bad for us, and we are tortured soul and all that. So they cook up some story and then try to get the visa and everything. Okay, and so all these things will be now official. Okay, now uh, there will be possible cooperation between Eurojust and European Public Prosecutor Office and all that as well. So they will. I mean, that means that a criminal who is in from India, they may be prosecuted in the European courts as well, just the way they will be prosecuted in India as well. So there will be lots and lots of diversification in that direction, and we will see this thing going forward. Okay, and so now European Union probably. I mean, there has been some news. Okay, I'm gonna say a few things still here. That there are, I think there are certain, that there is some news or some information on X here and there that that European Union wants India to manufacture fighter jets and other military hardware and this and that. Only thing they will have to do is they will have to make sure that they don't share that tech with the Russians somehow. But the reality is this, guys. Okay, any kind, all that information is, I think, fake. Fake in the sense that because lots of people do these things for views. Okay, I have read the whole entire document, and nowhere in the document, as far as defense pact is concerned, it says that there will be European defense companies or defense manufacturers that are going to do some manufacturing of military hardware in India. There is no such pact, no nothing. I have not seen it. Okay, if you have seen it, please do post the link in the thing. Make sure that it is official. But I can guarantee you that's not gonna happen. And there is a reason for it. Reason being that if India will start to manufacture the military hardware and all that and start providing it to Ukraine or providing it to Europe, either way, whether, see, providing it to Europe is like providing it to your Ukraine, and that's not gonna help Russians. Okay, India, that is gonna definitely be taken very seriously by Russians if that happens. Okay, so India will be very careful about such treaties or something. So stay away from those news, those type of news or that type of content. Okay, there is no foundation to it. uh, some European company may come to India, and some, say, automobile manufacturers or phone manufacturers, or they may be there. They may manufacture certain other things like radar or something or this and that, because one company can manufacture lots of things, right? But that doesn't mean that they are going to manufacture the military hardware. Okay, that is not going to happen, and I just explained you why. Okay, so there is that, guys. This is it for this thing. This is it for India European Union Defense Pact, and there is few other things that are coming up too. There's a lot of ground to cover for me, actually. So I will come to you with another video on India and New Zealand free trade agreement, and I'll talk to you guys in that video. Until then, take care.